never seems to fail. Seems that whenever you hear about bad behavior, League of Legends is there to show it. I tell you, man, there's a line between, being passionate about your game and then there's being a total douchebag about being, being a quote unquote pro at a game. League of Legends does not disappoint because this article says it all right here. Top League of Legends pros suspended. Kicked off team for being jerks. Let me read that again. Top pros. League of Legends. Do the math. Two top League of Legends players have been banned from competitive play for 6 months because of extremely toxic behavior. Shortly after the ruling came down from league developer and publisher Riot Games, the players' teams also removed them from their roster. Ooh. The two players in question were both members of the European team Ninjas in Pajamas, or NIP. Moving on. The esports-focused gaming site on Gamers describes the duo as two of Europe's most controversial league figures because of their tendency to use aggressive language, including hate speech, when playing the popular online competitive game. League of Legends developer and publisher Riot Games, which has been experimenting with different methods of discouraging reprehensible behavior for years now with its community-supported tribunal system, announced a suspension in a post on the game's forum explaining the nature and full extent of the infractions. As the Riot Sports, I'm not going to read that. As the Riot Esports coordinator Scott Alborson Parkin explained, the two have repeatedly violated a number of rules spelled out by the game's tribunal system in order to prevent cyberbullying, offensive language, and unfair play. Here's how he describes recent infractions by Miffy, real name Alfonso Aguirre Rodriguez. In recent months, Rodriguez has exhibited extremely toxic behavior in solo K. This behavior included was not limited to in-game harassment, verbal abuse, and continual use of racial slurs. In the past month, Rodriguez has been reported in over 30% of the games he played, with nearly 60% of those reports for being for offensive language, negative attitude, and verbal abuse. During this period, his harassment score rose to within the top 1% of all players on EUW. Additionally, he was reported over 30 times for leaving the game going AFK. Despite Despite previous punishments for his toxicity, Rodriguez's behavior has shown no improvement over the past months, even after his account became chat restricted. Excuse me. He didn't want to swallow one way. The description of Erland Holm, aka Nuke Duck's behavior is pretty much identical, though Parkin does specify that Miffy's harassment score rose to be within the top 1% of all players on EUW. Referring to the game's chief Western European server that supports online gameplay in that region. It's hard to find publicly visible records of league infractions like this since Riot doesn't display them on the forums other than to describe the language as it did in the above statement. As a result, record of the dialogue in the specific league matches that lead up to the suspension aren't immediately available. But to give you an idea of the language being used here, some screenshots of the offensive in-game chats that Nuke Duck and Miffy participated in surfaced on Reddit back in March that are still available thanks to esports site Esports Heaven. Let's read this, shall we? I hope you blank blank. Bronze V. Oh my god, get the Bronze V. OMG. Get cancer and die, fucking trash Jews. I will gas your families. Okay. Let's see. Then we continue. Said so many kick him fucking niggers. Or I'll let in one lobby. Enough said. Shortly after these screenshots surfaced on Reddit back in March, the two players were fined $500. At the time, NIP tried to brush off the controversy, saying that in a statement given Esports Heaven, that the comments seemed worse when taken out of context. We feel that the screenshots taken out of a custom game have been blown out of proportion and were posted with malicious intent towards the players in question. However, we and Ninjas in Pajamas do not condone such behavior from our players, and they have been reprimanded accordingly. We expect our players to behave like the pillars of the professional community that they should strive to be. Once news of the latest infraction surfaced, however, NIP officially ran out of patience. Shortly after Riot announced Nuke Duck and Miffy's suspension, NIP issued a statement on its Facebook page saying that the two have been released from the team. Here's the statement, reprinted in full. Erlen Nuke Duck Home and Alfonso Miffy Rodriguez have been released from Ninjas in Pajamas. Ninjas in Pajamas have released Erlen Nuke Duck Home and Alfonso Miffy Rodriguez from our roster with immediate effect. This is as a direct result of the recent suspension they both received from Riot due to breach of code of conduct, which bans them from competition for the rest of 2014. Therefore, they are unable to participate in Coke Series in 2014. NIP will immediately start searching for suitable replacements for the two players and will try out several options during the upcoming weeks. Statement from Gustav M. Carto, Management Director of Ninjas in Pajamas. This is a highly regrettable situation that the players can only blame themselves for. Ninjas in Pajamas do not condone this kind of behavior we hope that the players take the time to learn from this incident and come back to competitive play in the future with a refreshed attitude. But for now, we will unfortunately have to say goodbye to Alfonso and Erland, who have been exceptional and loyal players of NIP for the last 9 months. For his part, Miffy took his relatively popular Twitter account to admit that the ban was a fair response. I must agree I didn't have the best behavior, so the ban is deserved. Since I'm banned for 6 months, I'll be looking to join teams as a coach. For meanwhile, work on my behavior and try to come back to the scene. This isn't the first time that Riot has banned professional Great League players from its game for toxic behavior. Back in 2012, the studio banned one player for a full year after he failed to improve his behavior despite repeated punishments, including regular temporary suspensions. Still, the news is significant for leagues, many players, and fans around the world. One seasoned player explained to me this morning, because it shows that Riot is trying to prove that no one is immune from the rules set down and enforced by the game's tribunal system. If it can happen to one of their most public players, it can happen to anyone, he said, which is pretty awesome considering how many gaming communities are like, yeah, but boys will be boys when it comes to shit like this. The punishment is reassuring, therefore, because it shows amateur League of Legends fans that professional players aren't treated with kid gloves by the tribunal because there's more money on the line. Public figures are hard to come by, but professional esports athletes usually make a living from a combination of sources, including team salaries, brand sponsorships, and revenue pull from their Twitch streams and YouTube videos. Cutting off a player's access to one or more of these sources doesn't just hurt him or her individually. It also limits the team's ability to remain competitive. Teams have 5 people on them. My league playing friend continued. Members on count Members count on each other for their livelihood. Imagine if 20% of a sports team were banned from playing sports for life for cussing. When yeah, when Riot banned that professional Legend League players back in 2012, the company said in a statement that the decision to impact someone's career is not one we make lightly, but it's the one, the company is clearly willing to make all the same. And that was by Yannick Lijak. That was the author of this post. And as I'm skimming through all this, let me just say this. Now, first off, League of Legends shouldn't have been a sport to begin with. Okay? Football is a sport. Baseball is a sport. Basketball is a sport. This, of course, should not have been a sport to begin with. And it's an e-sport. So the fact remains, like, if we club gamers, like random co-op, if we as a club were to play something and it was, it was league or club related, first off, I don't know. I just don't see us doing anything past what we like to do, which is play video games. On top of that, we work within time limit, time restraints. So whoever's on, you have the chance to get into the game and play. That's how I see it. Of course, we're talking about League of Legends. This game has so many people going to the outright utmost extreme on quote unquote this. It's not even a real sport, yet they're treating it like it's a real sport. I'm sorry, but there's a line I have to say about that. It's only a game. And then when you take it too far, when you take it too seriously, then it becomes an obsession. There are winners and there are losers. You don't have to be obsessed with winning. You can lose and still have fun. You can win and still have fun. If I was watching a ball game right now, whether my team won or my team lost, I still would have enjoyed watching because it was a good game. Sure, there'll be fights breaking out every so often, but fights don't come by hardly these days, especially in baseball. I mean, when it rarely happens, it does happen and it will happen. But aside from that, it just isn't going to happen. League of Legends has stayed as it was. now it has more problems because of certain players just won't shut the hell up. They want to keep talking and they want to start insulting people. They want to call them out their name. They want to quote unquote use racial slurs. And I'm sorry, but the line has to be drawn when you have racial slurs. I'm really serious. There is a line that has to be drawn. You know, if you're going to go as far as say, "I'm going to burn your house down," you cocksucking cracker son of a bitch, or something like that, or you goddamn motherfucking nigga, I will, I will cut you, I will kill your family and whatnot. That's going too far. Why do I mention this? Because this is a prime example of what going too far is worth. You can play a game, and once you play a game, there are two ways. There are many ways you can play. You can play it for keeps. You can play it as is, which is casual. You could be like 100%ing through a game. You could professionally play the game as is, with your hands be tied behind your back because you know the game inwards and outwards. You could pull off a 200% perfect run, which I have not seen yet. And among many other things, you could pretty much cheat the game if you feel like it. I'm sorry, but this is stupid. This is oh so stupid because League of Legends is not a real sport. I'm telling you that right now. League of Legends is not a real sport. It should not try to be a sport. It should try more to be something like casual. But apparently, this is League of Legends. This is the only quote unquote sport that is supposedly play for keeps. That you live by the sword or die by it, or whatever kind of bullshit that is. So what is your take on this? Let me know in the comments if you so choose to. I want to hear what you think about this article as I'm going to share with you. As many articles as I have been shared with. So I've been the Tenkaichi of gaming. This article was brought to us by Kotaku.com. And I will see you next time with more videos. So until then, take care, God bless, and of course, Tenkai Muso. Stay tuned for a new exciting LP coming up pretty soon on the channel. Till then, take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time.